What is going on, you guys? Bastion YGO here, and today we're going to be doing a quick ban list prediction for you guys. So we just got a recent ban list about, was it 3 months ago now, with, of course, it's saying the next ban is going to come in a few months. It is now a few months, so essentially, without us having an actual date, we don't really know exactly when exactly the ban list is going to be coming, but I think this is probably going to be the best time for Konami to go ahead and release something, just from a business perspective. I mean, they want to make sure that they sell as much Sprite as possible, which they definitely have. They want to make sure they sell as much tier elements as possible, which again, they definitely are doing that as well. But what's the best way to go ahead and reinforce the new product is by completely shutting down old product. Not just completely shutting it down, but maybe at least hitting it, slap on the wrist real quick, just to make sure that it's able to slow it down just enough to make sure that the new product sells even better. So without further ado, guys, if you guys enjoy these type of videos, go ahead and leave a like down below, comment down below what cards you want to see on the upcoming Forbidden Limited list, and let's get right into it. So we're going to be starting off with the banned cards, guys. So as far as the banned card goes, I'm going to go ahead and put them here. I put them right here for you guys. I have Mystic Mine, Artifact Scythe, and potentially Halki Fibrax. So I'm gonna go ahead and run by these real fast for you guys. So Mystic Mine, the biggest issue with Mystic Mine is that it's yes, it was never a healthy card to begin with. It was never a card that you would say promoted fair play, promoted a positive dueling environment. But I think finally Konami should be seeing that just by the overall YCS, Nationals results, regional results, everything like that. Mystic Mine is in every single deck, and now people are starting to consider it, actually putting it into Sprite as well, just to go ahead and deal with if you're going second, that way you have an immediate out to whatever your opponent has on the board. I just don't think Mystic Mine is healthy for the game in general. I said this in my previous ban list prediction. I got roasted for it. Well, there you go. So definitely that's something that we're going to go ahead and keep in mind, guys. Also, again, back to a business perspective, Konami wants to make sure they're able to sell as much Sprite and tier elements as possible. And with those being very monster effect heavy decks, cards like Mystic Mine are just not going to be healthy for a business and for the game itself, so go ahead and get rid of the card entirely. Next, talk about Artifact Scythe. So for a while now, we've said, you know, Dagda is the problem, DPE is the problem to facilitate popping, TG Wonder Magician is the problem, you know, all these other type of random things. And yes, I mean, you may have somewhat of a point. Those things did facilitate Scythe being abused, but then all those things are good because Scythe is there. So I think the real issue with the problem is, let's stop beating around the bush. Let's actually attack the problem card. Similar with Mystic Mine, it does not promote a healthy gameplay. Does not promote a healthy state of play. So I think the best way to go ahead and do it is go ahead and get rid of Artifact Scythe. I mean, I'm done with getting Scythe locked, and the only decks I can play around this is gonna be what Fluanderies, and the only one that don't care. So let's go ahead and get rid of this card. Let's promote some more actual interactive gameplay. Let's stop, you know, winning duels by just, you know, first turn Scythe lock and then that's it. It's not really a fun way to experience Yu-Gi-Oh, especially for anyone coming into the game new, I should say as well, to where they understand, oh, okay, great, let me go ahead and pick up this deck and play with it, take it to locals, get Scythe locked, and then they realize that the game involves a lot of not playing. So let's go ahead and get rid of these cards, guys. And the last card I have on the ban list, I'm on the fence about this one, is Halki Fibrax, Chris Strong Halki Fibrax. So the main quarrel I have with this card is that yes, it can be very easily abused. Yes, Konami put it to 1 on the most recent Forbidden Limited list. Did it do anything? Absolutely not, because every deck only plays it at 1 anyway. Is it time to go ahead and ban this card? Potentially. I think it's still definitely played in most meta decks. This is where I'm kind of conflicted with this one. I don't see it being as cancerous right now, just with the current state of play, as it maybe once was. But banning that card means you're able to bring back more of the tuners that were banned for it off their ban limited list. So it's like, it's a give and take. It could really go both ways. I'm gonna go with they're gonna go ahead and ban it. I mean, they already released the OTS. They already made their money from Halki Fibrax, and I don't see any other potential future decks really gaining any benefits as far as my, current knowledge is concerned. So I think from a business perspective and just from an overall gameplay perspective, I think that Hockey Firebrax is time to go, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you may see it. Next up, guys, we're going to be looking at the limited section of the Forbidden Limited list. Now, this list is probably the shortest section of my entire list. So here I have two cards. I have Spellbook of Judgment and Orcus Harp Horror. Now, yes, copy, OCG, whatever you want to say. Spellbook Judgment was phenomenal card 10 years ago. Same thing with the Dragon Rulers as well. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and throw all the Dragon Rulers right here as well. Let's go ahead and limit all of them, because I know a lot of them are still banned as well. Let's go ahead and just get rid of them off the ban list, guys. I mean, what are a bunch of these dragons gonna essentially do in this current format that other decks cannot do a million times better? You know, so that's my current point of view with these things, guys. Is that these cards have been on there for a while now, Dragon Rulers and Spellbook of Judgment. Let's go ahead and bring those back. Who knows? Maybe we can potentially see them as potential like tier 2 decks, rogue decks here and there. That might be really cool to go ahead and see. A lot more creative juices flowing. Also, again, returning players who played 10 some years ago will recognize this deck and say, hey, let me go ahead and play it, giving it potentially finding some competitive viability, but not enough to where it can be a tier 1 deck or a tier 0 deck by any means whatsoever. Harp Horror, on the other hand, is just a card that it's Orcus itself. I don't think it's a deck that will be tier 1 again with the current state. Just gonna put that out there. But even if Harp Horror goes to 1, it would help the deck immensely in its consistency, but it would not be enough to make the deck or the engine as obscenely broken as it once was. So these are the 3 cards, or 2 cards and engine, that I'm gonna go ahead and archetype, I should say. I'm gonna go ahead and slap on the limited list for my prediction. Alright guys, now we're getting to the meat and potatoes, the semi-limited list. So semi-limited list, normally a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people in the community find this section of the list to be useless. While I do agree to some extent, I think this specific list might actually be necessary for a few cards, and we'll go ahead and go buy them one by one. Actually, we'll go ahead and throw them up right here for you. The 2 of them is going to be Water Enchantress and Rite of Ermazir. So these cards have been splashed in a lot of decks. Pretty much every other deck I see has this adventure package. Dragon Link, Virtual World, anything that just special summons. It doesn't require any type of like a normal summon effect, anything like that. It can easily abuse it. Sprite, I've seen Sprite, Adventure Sprite, whatever you want to call it, be played as well. I don't think that one's going to be taken off too much, but you get my point. Is that this card, this engine is, yes, well, it is useful for countering hand traps. It is just being splashed around and used for synchro shenanigans, things like that. So it's not the most fun thing to play against. I think it's just very, very consistent. The consistency of it is what makes it slightly unfair at times. So I'm going to go ahead and put both of these to 2, which will slightly impact the consistency of it, but will still make it viable enough to go ahead and main deck for a lot of decks out there. Next, for the semi-limited guys, I have Emergency Teleport. So Emergency Teleport recently came back to 3, and I personally believe that was a bit of a mistake. Just because the punks are really, really hot right now. It was most likely why Konami might not do this. So it's another one of those cards that I'm 50-50 on, but it's not my personal beliefs that's conflict this time. It's just from a business perspective. Punks are doing very, very well. Pure Punk is actually taken off as one of the best decks. If you guys want a deck profile for it, or how the deck should essentially run, go ahead and check out Pack's channel. He has a quick breakdown of his deck profile while he goes over some of his thought process as well. So if you guys want to learn how to play Punk, definitely take it from him. Definitely much more big brain than myself. But not just that, of course. I mean, Cyframe Gamma has come back as one of the better hand traps in the format. It was always one of the best hand traps, but essentially you get one use and you're done. But with Emergency Teleport, it gets multiple uses, being able to use for combo lines, especially with Sprite as well, just boosting that deck's consistency as well. So I'm conflicted, yes, because I do see the issue with this card, but from a business perspective, I think Konami's go ahead and leave it in, just because it helps Punk, which they just released more support from, and it helps Sprite's consistency, and it's a deck that literally just came out. So honestly, will it get hit? it's 50-50. I think it should. Konami, from business perspective, I don't think they will. So it's something to definitely keep an eye out for in the next Forbidden Limited list. Next on our list, guys, we have Sword Soul Emergence. Sword Soul Emergence is really just to hit the consistency of one of the best, if not the best deck of the previous format. I think Sword Soul is insanely consistent. It's a very fair deck. So there's not really anything to hit that's like cancer. I mean, Protoss was hit. That was the biggest issue with the deck that made it really unfair. And now the deck is just really has fantastic grind game, but not in an unfair way. It has the capability to make very good boards, not obscenely broken boards, and it has the ability to play through multiple hand traps and continue to go off on his plays. So I think hitting Sword Soul Emergence to 2 just hits the consistency just a smidge to make it a little bit slightly lower tier. Just to go ahead and let Sprite and Tier Elements really take the limelight and take the spotlight. I mean, Sword Soul has been around for I think almost a year now. It's been around for a while. I don't know how long it's been. I feel like it's been one of the best decks for like the longest time. So I think Konami is definitely time to go ahead and start looking to bump it down a little bit. Like I said, it's not a very cancerous deck. It's still a very fair deck, I would say, but hit it down a notch just a little bit. Just go ahead and let the new decks shine and have their moment in the spotlight as well. And the last card I'm gonna put to semi-limited is actually a fun one. I have Change of Heart. So Change of Heart recently came to 1. I don't know if it was the previous ban list, but one of the most recent ban lists, I think 1 or 2 ban lists ago, and it has done absolutely nothing. It was in 1 top 32 deck list for a DDD player, and he immediately said in the deck profile that I'm not playing this card. It didn't really come up very often. I would recommend if you're going to play like a going second build, like for example, if you guys saw my most recent deck profile that I uploaded for Sky Striker, maybe putting Change of Heart in there if you're going to be going second. That might be something you could, you know, potentially work with. But I could easily see this card going to 2. It's really not doing anything in the meta at 1, because the issue with it is that it's not a searchable piece. With Triple Tactics Talents is really fantastic because you have multiple options. Even though it's not searchable, it gives you a range of options to choose from. Look at your opponent's hand. So knowledge is huge in Yu-Gi-Oh! So definitely that's big. Drawing 2 cards, again, expanding your potential extend. And then also lets you take control of your opponent's monster as well. So it has multiple different aspects to it, where Change of Heart just limits you to 1. So that's the main thing why I believe Triple Tactics Talents far superior to Change of Heart. While I do believe Change of Heart is going to be potentially played in a lot of going second builds for not just Sky Striker, but different decks as well. I think it potentially has earned the right to go ahead and be at least semi-limited, and then we'll see, take it from there. And lastly, guys, for the unlimited section, I have 2 cards right here. One is going to be Pot of Desires, and the second one's going to be Trickstar Light Stage. So we guys saw both of these get weirdly placed in the most recent lists. So Pot of Desires, I think it was set to 1, which made no sense, and it was set to 2. And where everyone in the community was like, yeah, I mean, it's not really like it's not really like a card that anyone was thinking about. So just go ahead and put it back to 3. I mean, why even play that? Why would you even bump it down to 1 or 2? It just feels awkward. It doesn't make any sense, and I feel like it has most of the community confused more than anything. So just go ahead and put Desires to 3. And lastly, guys, going to be Trickstar Light Stage. Now, yes, I love Trickstar and all those type of things. Labyrinth is coming out, which is going to be very good to go ahead and mix with Trickstar. So if you guys want to go ahead and see a deck profile, let me know in the comment section down below. But I think from a business perspective, it makes sense because it mixes well with Labyrinth. But also, it just makes sense because the Trickstar Light Stage going to 2 did absolutely nothing for the deck. Yes, Team Bortle, I think topped a few regionals playing Trickstar. He's the only one in the US who was able to do so let's everybody just calm down. Okay, Trickstar is not tier 1 anymore. The deck is just way too slow to go ahead and keep up with what is currently meta, so we don't have to worry about that. I think Trickstar Light Stage going to 3, it's not really gonna impact anyone in any type of negative way. It's only gonna go ahead and promote those few weirdos like myself who really enjoy playing Trickstar and, you know, burning your opponent for 200 just for breathing air. So if you guys enjoyed this list, guys, go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. Or you can also let me know by smashing the like button. Subscribe for more videos, guys. I want to upload this as often. I want to upload videos, I should say, as often as possible. So if you guys have any ideas of what you guys want to see next, go ahead and let me know. And again, in the comment section down below, I will be uploading some really exciting profiles here in the next few days. I have a hero deck profile coming up as well. I have a Layer of Darkness coming up here as well, because we got new support in Power of the Elements as well. So if you guys are excited for those, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and stay tuned, and I'll go and see you guys in the next one.